Okay, guys, welcome back. Give me a second. Quick request, do not put anything in chat. I'm closing chat right now so that I can concentrate on serving you. And as yesterday, again, background is that please ensure that you're crisp to the point. I will take one question only so that I can help as many people as possible. This is a group learning session, so stay back to learn from the answers to other people's questions too, okay? All right. Let's begin with Prerit. Prerit S, over to you.
So, yeah, hi Vikram.
Hi.
So basically, I have actually 4 years of experience as an SDET, okay, and now I'm planning to change my career into AI data science. So as per your session today, I understood that this is a kind of a role which the HRs usually don't prefer. Like this is a risky role for them, like you said today, for hiring. So my question is, how would I portray my experience in my resume? Like my resume, like my experiences in something else, and the field which I'm moving into something else. So yeah, that's what my question is.
There are two ways to do it. One is to have certifications or skills in the new field so that the HR manager knows that you're investing in yourself to move into the new field. Second is if you can do some projects or if you have done some projects in that area, there could be a capstone project or whatever, that will make a big difference. And third is see from your current experience, are there any relevant transferable soft skills or hard skills which are also required in the new domain? Even if there are one or two of them, try to portray those. So it's a packaging of all three. And keep in mind that yes, you will be a slightly high risk candidate for HR manager. And you may have to go back in your career a little bit to be able to pivot into a new stream. Normally, people go back one level, but in a career of a lifetime of 40 years, going back one level for 2 3 years and then coming back is not much of a problem. So be a little flexible in your expectations. You may have to start a little junior to your current level. But as far as your resume is concerned, focus on your valuable transferable skills from your current role, highlight any certification you have done, and keep in mind that the other person, the HR manager, is very risk averse. So look at how can I as in you, how can I decrease their anxiety and position myself as somebody safer, somebody that they can take a bet on. You can even tell them that, I know that I'm pivoting into a new career. Try me out. So why don't you try me out for about 6 months, and instead of joining at level A, I can join at level B, a little lower. And you do an evaluation of me in 6 months. And in 6 months, if you think I'm performing, then we can have a review and you can bring me back to level A. That I'm taking the risk, you're not. But take me at a lower level because I'm very keen to join the new field that you're talking about. Yeah. Prerit, I hope that helps. Okay. Moving on to Pawan Kumar. Pawan, over to you.
Hi Vikram.
Hi.
It's very nice. It's the second time I'm joining your program. Last time when I joined last 2 days, I am not able to join due to my commitments to my team. It was wonderful. That's why the second time I requested and joined. And my this one before joining your program, I am getting 3 to 4 interview calls for weekly. But what I think in my interview calls, what I was lacking is effectively use of the jargons, and I'm using a lot of fillers in my interview. So I need some suggestions how to effectively use the jargons and avoid the fillers. Just like I'm using most of them.
Okay. See, I've used, okay, while I'm talking to you.
Yes,
right?
that's the way. It is spoiling the interviewer's mind to work. I had given see effective from last to 2 to 3 weeks. Weekly, I'm getting six calls, 6 interviews.
Great, yeah, that's really good.
And I'm it is scheduled for actually scheduled for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, maximum 30 minutes. It is going for around 1 hour, 140, 1 hour 45 minutes. The interaction between me and the interviewer
So
is
the
going for
question
1
here
hour.
is, no, Pawan, the question is you're getting interview calls. Now, my question to you is, why are you not able to crack them?
I'm not understanding it. Till
Okay,
the
so
last time they are asking me, how soon you can join? How soon you can join? Let me take it to the next level. It's level 3, I'm going, not only
okay, here's
L1,
what I would
L2.
recommend. Number one,
Yes.
you have to find out that answer. So if you're getting multiple calls, which by the way, most people don't get, and you're getting, that's great news. Second is, if you're not able to move to the next level and crack the interview, something is going wrong. Are you not passing the airport test? Is there a communication skill style mismatch? Is the company, or maybe there's nothing wrong with you at all. Maybe the companies are not decided about.
I had one example on that. They had told your this one profile is very good, but we are putting it on hold.
What I would like you to do is, that is one situation, but when you get a no, or we get, or from a company that you're not going to the next level, please try to find out, hey, what went wrong? I fully understand that I don't go to the next level. Was there anything in my interview that I can correct as I search for jobs? Try to get feedback from interviewers. Interviewers, even if they reject you, are more than happy to tell you what went wrong, especially if you come with a genuine curiosity and say, listen, I want to know what went wrong so that I can improve my interview for my future job search. So there's no pressure on them to give you a job, especially if they said no, but they'll be happy to help. You need to know the reason why, Pawan, because if you don't know the reason why, how do you improve yourself? That is number
Yes.
one. Yeah. Second is
See, I have,
regarding.
Vikram, 1 second. What I follow is, with every interview, I put a recorder and then I convert it to the text. What I found is I'm not
No, hold
using
on, hold
almost the.
on. Do you record every interview that you are in? Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
With
yes.
their permission or without their permission?
I do it in mobile.
You should not do that. If HR gets to know that, you will be in such serious trouble because companies can sue you. If a company gets, maybe a company will never get to know, but if they do, that you're recording their interviews, Pawan, and this is to everybody on this session, a company is legally authorized to sue you, and they will take you to the cleaners. They will completely bankrupt you if they want to. Maybe a company won't do that, but they'll make your life so miserable because you are not allowed to record without a person's prior permission. Please don't do
I was
that.
no, I was 100% not knowing that one, but I make
Yeah.
sure. Well, in next this one I will not be. But with that, what I see when I listen back to the interviews, I'm not effectively using jargons and mostly using the fillers. That is what something which I observe with myself. But apart from that, most of the interviews which are scheduled only for 30 minutes, it has gone up to 1 hour, 1 hour 30 minutes. It is extending like
Okay,
anything.
I understand. Now, I want to keep our interaction brief because I want to help the other people also. I understand
Yeah,
your
yeah, sure.
question. So, in terms of jargon, one is, it's not the jargon, but have a list of frameworks. Don't call them jargon in your mind, call them frameworks. Like in the mock interview, Amrita used frameworks. So, when you go through my 68 questions, which we are sending across to you, you will be able to create bullet point answers to those questions. And once you do that, this problem of the filler words and the jargon will automatically go away because you'll have a very structured linear way of preparing for these answers, and you will write down 5 or 6 frameworks that you can use. The jargon you're referring to, like for example, Amrita spoke about the prioritization matrix or customer journey mapping, that comes with practice. And to practice, you need a set of questions, which we have given you, so that should be sorted out.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Welcome. All right, let me move to Selva Muthukumar. Selva, over to you. No, not really. It is very, very faint, Selva. On the bottom left of your screen, you may see an audio area. See if you can increase the microphone level. The microphone audio is very, very low. Try, say something right now. See if we can get you on. No. Okay, Selva, I'm going to have to come back to you later and then, take somebody else and then come back to you in a bit. Okay. Let me move to Ashwath Deshpande. Ashwath, over to you. Ashwath, same problem. I'm not able to hear you, buddy. Just try to say something right now. Let's see if we can hear you. No, Ashwath, not able to hear you. I'm going to have to come back to you. Ojasvi, over to you.
Hi.
Hi, go ahead, Ojasvi.
I'll just jump straight to the question. When we are talking about ATS system, I believe it will be very similar to Google system, right? So how many times do we repeat the number of keywords that we find there in the JD? And if you're mapping it to achievements, do we need to map all the achievements related to the keywords that are mentioned in the JD?
No, in a JD, you might find that when you extract the keywords, you may find 20, 30, 40, 50 keywords. Maybe less, maybe more, but normally the number is about 20. You don't have to use all 20 keywords in the first place. You have to use your judgment to take out between 5 to 10 keywords.
Okay.
Then put the keywords into your resume, and when you're putting them into the resume, start putting them into your achievements. At the end of the day, the first filtering happens when the ATS is looking for those keywords in your resume. It's not really looking for where is it in the resume.
Okay.
The ATS is
And
not
what about
looking.
the Sorry,
Hold on. It's not looking for where it is in the resume. Now, when it passes through the ATS and goes to the hiring manager or the HR manager is obviously looking for what are your achievements. And they are not looking for actual keywords. It's nice that the keywords come there, but they're not going to be sitting mapping it. So the resume is written from both perspectives. The ATS perspective, it needs to be ATS friendly and have about 5 to 10 keywords, which could be in your summary, your skill area, etc. And the HR manager who's going to be reading it needs to find it relevant for that role. The relevance is they don't have in their mind the 10 keywords that they're looking for. They just have to say, we have a role for XYZ. Does Ojasvi's resume match it or not? That's what they're looking for.
So basically, it should sound natural.
Exactly. It should sound natural. You nailed it. It should be a very natural flow for the HR manager to say, yes, this is a resume which matches the requirement that I have for the role. They don't look at a JD as much as the ATS does. Okay. All right. Moving on. Go ahead.
Just had a small question about the visiting card. If it's, I'll keep it short.
Go ahead.
So the adjective that you mentioned, is it better to have it on the business side or on the skill side? Because you mentioned
business side, always business side. The HR managers don't care about your skill set. So if your adjective you're adding is for your on your business card should be business friendly or business oriented rather than skill oriented.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, moving on to Alakesh. Alakesh, over to you.
Good evening, Vikram.
Hi.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Actually, I am 48 now. Actually, I laid off last April, but I'm not getting any position here. Actually, due to AI aggressiveness, I lost my job. I was in healthcare documentation. I lately worked for Accenture. My project was rolled out. So in that case, actually, at this age, I have 22 years of experience. So in that case, whether to develop a new skill or to charge for any other positions in a common way. So,
this is a very tough one, because at your age at 48, pivoting is going to be incredibly hard. And you're going to be fighting with a lot of younger talent who are half your age.
yes.
And I think how much of experience do you have in healthcare?
It's overall 22 years, healthcare documentation.
So what you should do, if possible, is see, and again, I don't know the full answer to this, but if you can look at how can you learn how to use AI for healthcare. So ultimately, somebody is managing AI to do the role that you're doing, right?
Yes.
Who's that person? How can you master AI for healthcare? So you will now at 48 not be able to leave your healthcare background, that's for sure.
Yes.
But you may have skills because you have healthcare deep expertise and knowledge in documentation. to manage AI, which is doing your role. So you are leapfrogging one level above that. I think what you need to do is to be able to understand, see, generative AI does not require any coding or any tech work at all. It just requires you to understand how do you leverage it to get the work done. And maybe if you don't find a 9 to 5 job, you could be a consultant for organizations who want to use AI to do the kind of work that you're doing. Because if it's happened in Accenture, it could happen with other companies where they're replacing talent.
Yes, all most of the companies are shrinking actually.
Yeah, so who's managing the AI to do your work? Try to be that manager. So leapfrog above AI because somebody has to manage that AI. So that could be one opportunity. And with the years of experience in healthcare, documentation, healthcare is one fundamental pillar that you can bank on. And the other is the documentation area. Are there any other verticals which require the kind of documentation experience you have? I would not rely too much on that because even that will be taken up by AI. It's a challenge in your field. So managing and mastering AI is going to be important for you here.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for your opinion.
Welcome. Okay, let me move to Sai. Sai Kulkarni, over to you.
Hello,
Yeah, hi. Go
am I
ahead.
audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank for the wonderful session since yesterday. I have had a very valuable information which will help in the future. First of all, I'm a banking professional with 16 years of experience. However, going forward, I want to get into teaching because I've realized that is what I can do better at, and it will also give me a benefit of having work-life balance as well as pursue my hobby. So, what are your suggestions with respect to additional qualifications or any other
What
aspect?
kind of, Sai, what kind of teaching do you want to do? Teaching is very broad. So what do you want to do in teaching?
Basically, into banking and finance. It could be a corporate trainer.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because, when you said teaching, it could be, I could have misread it as I want to be a teacher in a kindergarten school or a school, and that's also teaching. But obviously, you're talking about becoming a trainer. So, look, I think it's a great idea. If you've got 15 years of experience in banking, to be able to teach, and there's a huge demand for trainers, corporate trainers across verticals. So now there are two parts to it. One is your core skill. The other is becoming a trainer. Being able to train in a manner where you become a good trainer is an entirely different skill set. And you will have to marry the two together to become a damn good trainer. It's a learned skill which takes a period of time. So, is it a good idea? Yes, that's number one. Second is, should you do it? That's where career planning will help. And if it, as a corporate trainer, either working in a company or being a freelance corporate trainer, both are opportunities, both are options which work well, depending on how much you want to earn. Uh, Being a corporate trainer, you can build your business over a period of time. You may start slow, but may be able to build up. You require two skill sets which you need to be built. One is certification in banking and finance as a finance instructor. In India, I know that there are quite a few certifications you need to have to be qualified as a trainer. So you need to map out and figure out what they are. And then second is take a course on how do you become an effective trainer. Because when you're competing with other trainers for work and your reputation precedes you over a period of time, you need to be a really, really good presenter. You need to be able to break down complex topics in banking and finance into simple topics so that people can understand. So, in a nutshell, I think it's a fantastic idea, but develop your domain expertise and get certified, and develop your expertise in becoming a good communicator. These were the two things that I took. Yeah.
And last but not the least, I want to appreciate the fact that Mr. Omkant Bhatia, who spoke earlier, irrespective of his age and respectful background in armed forces, I want to uh, give
Yeah.
my salute to him.
I think we all do. We all give a salute to all veterans who have joined this program and previous programs after their service to the nation, trying to come back to the corporate sector. I have a very soft heart for all of them, being a part of that fraternity myself. But Sai, thank you so much for coming up and that. So I'm sure if he's on, he would appreciate that. And tomorrow I'll make sure to, convey your best wishes. So I thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. Moving on, let me move to Vaishali Ganguly. Vaishali, over to you.
Yeah. Hi, Vikram.
Hi.
Am I audible?
Yes, absolutely. Very clear.
Yeah. Hi. Good evening. First of all, thank you so much for such a nice session. And I got to learn many things. Now, coming to my question is regarding the resume. I'm working with I'm working in the field of logistics and forwarding since last 23 years with many MNCs like DHL, Agility, and so on. Now, my current organization, I am actually hired as a ocean import head for Western region and successfully done the job for 3 years. Now, when my organization required some achieve some goals, so they have given me challenge to work for a lost account, regaining lost account, and which I have done successfully. Now I'm completing 5 years in the same organization and looking for a better opportunities. So now in my resume, how to mention these two different experiences in same company, same organization?
It actually shows a rich breadth of experience because you have worked in one company for a period of time, but you've got two very diverse experience.
No, not in one company, multiple companies, overall same field, 23 years experience.
Okay, no, one minute.
Many MNCs.
Let
6 to 7 MNCs.
Okay, so 23 years, you've worked with 6 to 7 MNCs. In the last 5 years, how many companies have you worked in?
Only one company. That 5 years I'm working in the same organization.
That's what I'm talking about. That what people will be concerned about, not concerned, but what they'll be interested in is in the last 5 years, what has Vaishali done? Which company has she been a part of? What has been her achievements? Because Vaishali, anything prior to 5 years is not relevant. 23 years, even if you work with 6 companies, like my experience, is not relevant anymore.
I'm not asking that. I'm sorry to cut. I'm not asking for my past previous experiences, how to mention that. My question is, in the same organization, I am actually doing, I have done two different roles. First is Western Region Operation Manager, and second role is Western Region Sales Manager. So now how to put this in my resume?
Correct. Okay. One company, which is the company you are in, or the last company that you have joined, two different roles, but were they happening at the same period of time, or were they chronologically different?
No, chronological different.
Then you don't have a problem. Then you have either the same designation and two different achievements, because the achievements will be put chronologically. Let's assume, I'm assuming that your designation was the same when you're holding them, or they could have been different designations. If they're two different designations, then they're so you have the company on top, you have current designation in your responsibilities, previous designation and achievements. So it's still put chronologically. They are kept separate so that the HR manager knows that you have done operations and sales management in the same company, in the same industry, but they're kept as two very separate kind of. So if you have 5 bullet points, you could keep 3 bullet points. You can take a judgment call, 3 bullet points in operations, 2 bullet points in sales management, or 3 in sales management, 2 in operations, depending on what you want to do in the future, depending on what is your goal plan.
Okay. And second question, how my then the bullet points that values?
Vishali, I'm only taking one question. I'm not taking 2 questions because I want to help as many.
Fine. Okay, no worries.
All right, Vikramaditya, over to you.
Yeah, hi Vikram. Good afternoon. This is Vijay. Sorry, hi Vikram. Yes. So my question is, I think I mentioned in the chat box as well. However, so my always challenge is if we're targeting for the next level job, so how do we need to mention in the resume and also sort of showcase in the interview?
What's your background? What's your background?
I'm in IT.
How many years of experience?
It's pretty much 19 years.
19 years of experience in IT, and you now want to move to the next level. Okay, now here's the point. The resume will not say that you want to move to the next level, because the resume is a reflection of what you have done in the past, up to current date. So it's a strategic marketing brochure selling your existing IT skills. The cover letter talks about the fact that you want to move to the next level. So if you use the EMBRA format, excited, match, relevance, and action steps, and if you use that, it's in the cover letter you talk about how you want to move to the next level and how you feel you're ready and why you feel you're ready. So anything which is future looking is mentioned in the cover letter. Anything which has got to do with the past is exclusively mentioned in the resume.
True, but I have played a different roles, like lead roles, scrum master, business analyst, and different roles. But if I look into the project manager and program lead roles, in this case, so cover letter it won't be enough, right? So then we need to mention in the interview also think that okay, I'm looking for specifically this so and so.
No. Don't say I'm looking for. Say I can help you in.
True.
See, when you talk about I'm looking for, I don't give a damn what Vikramaditya is looking for. But when Vikramaditya tells me I can help Vikram Anand in A, B, C, and then you can mention all the roles that you're interested in. Now I'm interested. So remember that in an interview, you can be looking for XYZ things, but you have to position it as how you can help the interviewer solve problems in a wide variety of parts of their business. Why are the different roles that you are interested in? So your interest comes later. The first part of how you can help them comes earlier, and in the interview you can bring it up. As you weave the conversation in, it depends on how the conversation flow goes. In an interview, you're applying for one particular job, but rather than say that while I'm applying for this job, I'm also interested in ABC, you should say while I'm here for talking about how I can solve your problem in A, by the way, I can also solve your problems in B, C, and D. And that's how you can set the ball rolling.
Okay, that makes sense to me.
All right,
thanks
cheers. Okay. Ritu Masant. Ritu, over to you.
Hi, Vikram. As I mentioned yesterday, that I've had a gap in the last 3 years, especially with the two layoffs that I've had. Though I've had a very steady career in the fintech industry, starting the year of 2000 until the year of 2021. So now my biggest dilemma has been how to bridge the gap in these changing times and with AI. I'm 50 years old, been in the industry for 23 years, I have expertise in operations that are back-end banking operations, voice and non-voice. And then I moved into business management roles with tech. Now, while I was in my previous job at Barclays, they pivoted me from business management into employee engagement role, which is more of an HR. Now, changing cities from Pune to Hyderabad, I am finding it difficult to make a comeback in the Hyderabad market. My interest lies in getting into operations or business management or chief administrative officer roles or COO roles. But the job descriptions that I see in the COO roles are very, very competitive and doesn't align with the experience that I carry, but more of the chief administrative roles does. So first thing is to be able to, I find myself a fish out of the water when I see today's jobs descriptions, number one. Second question would be...
Ritu, I can't take two questions. Like I mentioned, I'm only taking one question. And actually, we've already had a chat yesterday. I'd mentioned that, right now, I'm only taking questions from people I have not been able to interact with yesterday.
Okay, so my biggest question...
I will take your question right now since we are on the call. Ask me one question and I'll answer it.
Yeah, like as I said, I feel like a fish out of the water in today's era. At the age of 50, with the job descriptions that are coming, they're no more like what we've been seeing in the past. So how do I position myself, or how do I find jobs that are relevant?
Don't think about a job, think about your career. From 50 to 60 is a very, very critical part of your career now. What you do now is going to make or break the next 10 years. And this is the time when you're either building your financial net wealth or it's eroding it. Don't think about jobs. I need you to develop a career plan first. There are many career planning tools. I'll talk about some of them tomorrow, but there are many career planning tools which will help you understand at this crossroad in your life, when the landscape has changed so dramatically, what is the next inning going to look at? Very clearly, you have hit a speed breaker in your career and you are now getting to a second act. that there was an Act 1 which has come to a close. There's an Act 2, but rather than being reactive to what kind of jobs should I apply for, your questions to yourself should be, what is the kind of career I want to build in my 50s, which A is technology agnostic, AI agnostic, which cannot be taken away from me because you're carrying a wealth of wisdom, experience, knowledge, skills, and it could be something entirely different. But if you don't get off the hamster's wheel of job, you won't be able to sit back and look at what are the opportunities out there, because there are tremendous opportunities. Coaching, consulting, practice areas, service industry, around the kind of roles that you've had. So think about career planning. Career planning has various phases to it. Do a self-introspection, get feedback from other people about what they think about you, then taking some tools. There's an MBTI, a Meyer-Briggs test to understand where you are. I teach that in my advanced program, but anyway, to give you overall, develop a career plan first. Once you develop a career plan, you'll have crystal clarity on what kind of jobs to figure out, which are going to be stable for the next 10 years for you. Because as you rightly said, once you cross the wrong side of 40, not 50, wrong side of 40, it becomes very hard to find a job in corporate India, because corporate India prefers younger talent. A lot of people in the webinar today, in the meeting today, are struggling because they are on the wrong side of 40. And it's so hyper competitive in India that we need to carve a niche for ourselves, and it starts with planning a career. Most people in the meeting today are thinking about jobs, whereas they should be thinking about their career. But that's what I will say right now, and we will have a follow-up conversation where I'll talk about some stuff tomorrow. Okay. All right. Moving on, I want to move to Charanpreet. Charanpreet, over to you.
Yeah, hello Anand. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Anand, my concern is on the topic which you said, control the narrative. We had a discussion on Voxpop, pitch deck, and Carl's framework. I found while getting this for the planning and all that, Voxpop or pitch deck is feasible to, is there a certain time tenure, how we just, because time between the interview and the call is quite less, and to be controlling the narrator with these techniques, I think need some either you are pre-planned or you are already targeting certain companies that once you get a chance, so you should be having ready with this. So it's a simple hit and trial method, or what strategy?
Okay, it's a great question. So let me explain. Great question. The Voxpop can only be created when you have at least a week time between your mid-level interviews and your final interview. You can't create a Voxpop for every interview, otherwise you'll be doing video editing and shooting and nothing else. So it's only done for mission critical interviews where you have at least 7 to 10 days to plan and prepare for it. However, the pitch deck can be created in advance for any interview, because the pitch deck can be of two types. One is a pitch deck which is highlighting a win that you have had in your previous or current job, where you're talking about yourself. So I can create that today talking about myself. You can create it today talking about yourself. By the end of this weekend, Charpreet, you could create maybe 10 slides of what have been your wins, some projects that you can talk about and that you can present in any interview, even if the interviews are back to back. However, a better version of a pitch deck is when you can talk about the problems the company is facing and what is your perspective on solving them. It's almost like a case study. That still requires 1 or 2 days preparation. So a pitch deck is much easier to create, doesn't require too much of time than a Voxpop. And if you feel that you're currently facing back-to-back interviews, a pitch deck is always preferable. And in that case, create a pitch deck about yourself and your wins rather than about the company, because even that takes a little bit of time.
Fine.
Yeah, cheers.
Got it. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, let me move to Umesh Sharma. Umesh, over to you.
Yeah, hi, thanks a lot. So my question is a little similar to what maybe the couple of other candidates here had. So I have a total overall 15 years of experience.
15, sir?
15,
yeah, okay.
15, yeah, right. And out of 15 years, I have worked as a credit analyst, as a credit manager, evaluating companies, Indian corporates on the credit risk side, right? I have also worked in banks. But in the last 4 years, and I'm working with my current company from last 10 years, And from the last 4 years, I have switched to the sales role. So, hardcore operations ratings role, I have switched to the sales role. I'm doing pretty good here, but right now my problem is that I don't know if it has to do with the ATS or with the kind of profiles that I'm trying to apply. Now my CV carries a lot of information which is to do with my previous work, which is to do with the credit, right? The credit operations or the credit risk part of it. So I'm not really getting a lot of opportunities for the sales profile. Right now, I'm heading actually the West region for my current company. I'm doing really well there. So when I'm trying to look into the next level, especially into the consultative sales, I'm really not sure why those calls are not coming. Is it to do with my CV where it captures credit related profile, or it is what is the problem? I'm really not sure on this.
How many years of experience do you have in sales out of the 15 years?
5, or rather 4.5. Not really completed 5 years.
Oh, so let's talk about 4. You have 4 years of experience in sales and 11 years of experience in credit. So it's obviously so, but the recent experience is in sales, right?
Right. Current is sales.
Okay. It's a challenge, but it's not too much of a challenge because recent experiences in sales. It's the way your resume is structured. Now, I haven't seen your resume, but it's the way you're positioning. So the aim is, I'll give you the overarching structure. Your brand, your LinkedIn profile, which we'll talk about tomorrow, your resume, your conversations with recruiters, your networking with hiring managers has to be all around sales. Forget about anything you've done in the past, right?
Right.
And when it comes to applying for jobs, typically when you have made a significant pivot in your career, somebody who has 15 years of experience in sales. From the HR manager's perspective, if I have Vikram and Umesh, and Vikram has 15 years of experience in sales, Umesh has 4 years of experience, out of 15 years, Vikram is a safer candidate.
Correct.
Whereas Umesh is not. So
Correct.
That's what's happening because you don't have the depth of sales experience for the next level. Now, there are 2 or 3 ways to look at it. One is to spend a little bit more time and get width of sales experience in addition to depth. So think about in sales, if you're doing well in your current company, can you postpone changing a job by a year? Equip yourself perhaps with the right executive MBA programs, which will give you that straddle up. Maybe some executive, not MBA, but even sales specific in your field that may give you that little head start, which you are lacking because you don't have 10 years of prior experience.
Right.
The second thing is, when you network with recruiters, find out what is the kind of profile they're looking for, the kind of job that you want, what are they looking for in that job, and see where are the gaps. If you're not getting called for interviews, there is a perceived gap. And the only person who can tell you what that perceived gap is if you have 5 coffee meetings with 5 recruiters of good firms, they look at your resume and you can tell them that, listen, I'm not getting called. What is the issue here? They'll tell you know what, Umesh, you don't have this particular part in your resume or you don't have this particular field. You will know how to cover it. Right now, we know the problem, but we don't know where is that gap. So that's the second part. The third part, which I can definitely tell you, is build your brand as a sales expert. And that is where LinkedIn plays a lot of role. When I look at your LinkedIn profile, it should be only about sales as a sales authority, as a subject matter experience in financial sales. And that will come through, and we'll talk about that when we talk about LinkedIn tomorrow. You should online, offline, and through networking be a sales expert. It's not simple enough to say I've got my resume for 11 years of experience. 11 years of experience in credit analysis, 4 years in sales. Now I'm applying for sales job. I'm not getting them. You won't get them because you are not a traditional candidate. So you have to really recreate your brand from scratch, online, offline. And as we go through the 3-day journey, we finished 2 days. There's another day journey. You'll start getting clarity on how do you build your brand. Your brand is weak. That's the issue.
So just one thing here, you said, check with the recruiters, right? So I'm not really sure, is it possible to really, connect with those recruiters, catch up?
Yeah. It is possible. That is a part of tomorrow's session. I'll share with you exactly who they are. And we're talking about the best recruiters in the country on an international level. I'll give you the names, tell you how to connect with them. How do you have what I call coffee meetings? So that's why I kept it for the last day. So today we talked about interviews. Yesterday we talked about resumes. Tomorrow we talk about how do you network with the right people who can open doors for you. Because applying online is a significant waste of time. The amount of competition is very high. You saw earlier, for most jobs, there are 250 people who apply, 4 people get called for the interview. The success rate is about 2.5%. So if you're not a traditional candidate, how can you even hope to compete with people who are traditional candidates for a role and be in the top 2.5% if you have only 4 years of experience? So to overcome that, you have to do the networking route, which is the sum of, or which is the main part of tomorrow's session.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So
Okay.
looking forward to that. Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right. Rosalika Punga. Rosalika, over to you.
Hi, am I audible?
Yeah, you are. Go
Hi,
ahead.
Vikram. Yeah, actually, I'm actually a very, I'm someone who's working, like, I'm a basic, I'm so sorry, I am
No,
flustered
that's
a
cool.
little.
No, cool. Absolutely fine. Go ahead. Take your time.
Yeah, so sorry. So yeah, I'm someone who's just started my career. So earlier I was a teacher and then I transitioned to tech. First I was in service desk and then I transitioned to data analytics. But I have a career gap right now because of my family reasons. I had my sister who had an accident. So I have a single mother. So I had to take the responsibilities. So I have a career gap of 10 months. So it is very difficult for me to get back on the wagon and, start be shortlisted for interviews. So I don't know how to go about it because I am applying and I did get a few calls, but there's not much that goes after the first or the second call that I get from the HRs. So I'm a little confused about how I can go about it.
What do you want
Because
to
it is
do?
large
You,
gap, I
you
understand.
mentioned that you were a teacher and then you moved into tech. What do you want
Yes.
to do? What kind of role do you want to do?
I want to be, part of the data analytics because that is something I upskilled myself in, and that is what I'm venturing for. But because of the career gap, I'm not sure as to because I have a checkered career. Like you can see, I started as a teacher, and now, then because I wanted to shift to tech. So the initial role as a fresher was that you need to get into service desk, and then I approached my seniors for more job responsibilities, and then I got into Power BI and SQL. But I have just an experience of 2 years in the same. But after that, I had a major tragedy that hit, and because I'm the elder daughter, so I had to take the responsibility and step back. So it's now huge career gap that I don't know how to go about it and how to get back on the wagon.
Would you consider restarting your career from scratch?
Yeah, I'm absolutely open for it.
What you should do is, and this, another lady asked about, and her problem was different because she's much older, but you need to develop a career plan. You need to figure out based on your, sort of rewrite your career plan going forward. The past is the past, it cannot be changed. It cannot be changed, right? You have a 10-month gap, which is almost a year career gap, and prior to that, only 2 years of experience because you were a teacher earlier. So as far as the corporate world is concerned, you're starting as a fresher. So you have to be mentally prepared that whatever role I take, I'm starting from ground zero, which is okay because we are going to be working till the age of 60 and maybe consulting for 20 years after that. That's absolutely fine. Now, keeping that in mind, look at what interests you, Rosalika. What is it that floats your boat in terms of that keeps you passionate and excited about the work you do? It's not. It's good to be earning a 9 to 5, working a 9 to 5 job, earning a salary. That's important. But what is it that you like to do based on the opportunities available out there? When you started looking for a job a couple of years back to get into tech, the market was very different from what it is today. And there are two uncertainties which are plaguing everybody. Everybody on this session today is, whether they realize it or not, are impacted by two things. One is very high level of business uncertainty. Why? Because of Shri Trump and the fact that all the sanctions which have happened, businesses don't know what is the future like even 2 months later. When that happens, hiring takes a toss because people are tightening the purse strings and saying, let us see this level of uncertainty through, and then see whether we want to hire. So there's a high level of uncertainty. The second thing is that there's AI which is changing the way jobs are being done. So you've got to take a look, especially if you're in tech, what part of tech is being taken over by AI? I don't want you to pick up a job today to find that 6 months later, AI is doing a better job of your job than you possibly can. So at this moment of your juncture, take a step back, speak to a lot of people in the industry. And if you on LinkedIn try to connect with people and say, I'm trying to develop my career plan, don't say I'm asking for a job or I'm looking for a job, because that's what everybody does. Rephrase it to, I'm trying to develop my career plan. Can I have a 10-minute virtual call with you? After you have tried to create a plan for yourself and talk to people in the industry and find out what is it that is interesting, what is it that you can do. Do you want to do remote work? Do you want to do work from home, hybrid? There are many opportunities, but the starting point right now is not to look for a job, because you'll be stuck in applying and not getting a single call back, because you're not a traditional candidate. You're competing with people who don't have any career breaks. A career break sometimes can be a fabulous opportunity to step back and say, am I doing the right thing? Is my career career ladder up against the right wall? Please develop your career plan. Validate that plan in the marketplace. It may take you a month to do that, but then you will be very confident that whatever jobs you apply for are absolutely right for you. Yeah, okay. Hope that works.
Thank you.
I mean, I can't give you an exact answer what the issue is without looking at your profile and looking at the gap, but obviously a one-year gap does give a cause for concern for the HR manager. Okay. Karthik Gautam, over to you.
Hi Vikram, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Go ahead.
So I completed my bachelor's in 2017 and I worked as a designer in textile and fashion industry for 3.5 years. And during COVID, I took up masters in NIFT, where I completed my master in design from 21 to 23. And from last 2 years, including my last semester, I did 4 months in internship, 1 year, 1 month apprenticeship in Palo Alto Networks, and last from March to August 4th, I worked as a senior project HMI designer at IIT Kanpur. So, should I mention my bachelor's and prior experience in my CV? And second is when I was working as a project HMI designer, there we were building something new, which I don't have any measurable data. So how can I show all these things?
Should you mention your prior educational experience? Yes, you should. Okay, with your years of experience, I think mentioning that would be a good idea. Even if it's not relevant right now, the fact is that whatever education, don't elaborate too much on it. You don't have to go into the marks, the grades, the CGPA, but just mention what, your educational foundation. In India, we value education a lot, so mentioning some of education is always a good idea. And if you've been part of projects where you haven't seen the end result, then try to break down, don't mention the business impact of the end result. Look at the intermediate, phases of the project and talk about, are there any significant contributions you have made to it? So it's an achievement. It's any significant contributions. For example, if you're working in a group, in that group project, whatever project you were working, what is it that you did, which you can say was my work that I did in that period of time? Because the project you weren't around when the project hit the marketplace, or you were able to show business impact. I don't know if that's clear or not, but it's possible to then break a large project into smaller chunks and say, my sole contribution, achievement, my sole contribution was in this group project, I did X, Y, Z. And the project later on went on to hit the marketplace or went on to fulfillment. You may or may not have any business numbers there, which is fine. But if you can talk about your contribution as a sole contributor to a group project, I think you'll be in a very strong place.
One small question related to today, which I'm facing on every day almost. So on project basis, IIT, they have their separate norms for PhD and master's candidate. On the other hand, I know that I can get this much salary in competitive market. So every day when I get a call, they ask me very straightforward, what was your last CTC? How much you are expecting? When I tell them that this was my last CTC based on project, and then this is much I'm expecting immediately. They're like, no, you are asking more than standing industry norms, 30% above that. How to tackle this problem?
Okay, so Karthik, I don't talk about salary negotiation in the 3-day program. It's a very, very advanced uh, strategy. There's something called price anchoring and framing, which need to be understood. Every HR manager is going to ask you, what is your current salary? What is your expected salary? And if you answer it, you cannot negotiate. But that's not a part of the 3-day agenda. It takes about 4 hours of my teaching to be able to coach on that. That's a part of my advanced program. That's a much longer program. I'll talk about that tomorrow. But the bottom line is, if you reveal the numbers, then don't expect to negotiate and you will get whatever they give you. And if you decide not to reveal the numbers, then you can significantly get much higher salary levels, because the bottom line is this, guys, and this is to you, Karthik, and to everybody else. Very often, I'm sure you've heard this comment from HR, two things. Salary will not be a constraint for the right candidate, right? HR and recruiters normally mention this. Secondly, they will also mention in the same breath, we have a budget for this role. And these are very two contradictory statements, and they use them at their convenience. But here's the reality. In any business where you have a P&L, the department has a department P&L, and there is normally there is no budget for a role. There is a budget at the P&L level, at the department level, and it's up to the hiring manager to figure out whether they want to give a higher salary or a lower salary to a particular candidate. So yes, while there are certain norms which HR will set, but if the hiring manager says, no, I really like Karthike, I want to hire him, I'm willing to give him a little bit more, that is possible. They will give you a little bit more at the expense of somebody else, because at the department level, the budget is being balanced. It's not being balanced at a role level. So keep that in mind, but I will not be going deeper into salary negotiation. It's not a part of the 3-day program. Yeah. Okay, guys, we've come to 12:40, and I'm wrapping up the Q&A here right now. We've spent about a good, I think about 50 minutes, 55 minutes in Q&A. I hope you've learned from today's session, and you've learned from the Q&A that we've had. It's just physically not possible to answer everybody's questions, and so I do apologize in advance if I haven't been able to answer your specific question. But I'll see you tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. for learning about a couple of things. How do you network with the right recruiters and decision makers? How do you build your LinkedIn profile and build your brand? And I'll talk to you then. Okay. Cheers, guys. And keep in touch. Have a safe evening. A good evening to you guys. Tomorrow's Saturday, so make sure you're well rested, because we're going to have a really, really interesting session tomorrow. I'm looking forward to interacting with you live in day 3 of the program. Sleep well. Take care. Good night. Bye, guys.